Raw, real, and just a little dangerous. This is Feral.
All right, friends, let's do this thing in 19 minutes. So we are here because the reality is that I get to own a marketing firm because there are so many people who say this phrase all the time, which is if I have to, right? If I have to be on social media. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about picking your social essentials, right? And I'm going to do this in a very no fluff, easy way for you all to be able to choose the social media platforms that are going to be the best to be able to showcase your business and your brilliance online. So let's get into it. So there's a little bit of this and that in here, but the reality of this whole entire situation is that social media is free, but your time and your energy is not. All of us are very, very busy. We are doing all the things for our companies, right? And although some of us may be blessed to not be solopreneurs anymore and have people who work in our business with us, we are still doing all the things because it is our name on the door, right? And so we still very much are working both in and on the business. And so our time and energy isn't free, but being as though we have to be in this social media space, we also have to reconcile with the fact that being everywhere is cute, but being strategic is really what's going to bring us revenue. And so let's make sure that you all are not just on social anymore, but that you are on the right social to bring in the right people for your business. There is a little bit of information baked in here about LCK, and I'm sure that Annie will share these slides with you all. And so you all can take a look at that. But in the interest of time, we're going to talk about what we call the big five today, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. We are going to high level touch on these today as we're going to break down who's on them, what they want, and how your brand can show up strong on these particular platforms. Oh, I think I just clapped for myself. Is that what that is? Okay, look at that. I love that. So let's talk about Facebook. I call Facebook an OG platform because it is one of the absolute oldest when we talk about social media marketing, right? And so Facebook essentially is what I refer to as the front porch of the internet. Facebook is best for brands and businesses that are community driven. They provide local services. They are event-based and or nonprofit. Now, typically the demographic that you're going to find on Facebook are people ages 25 to 55. It is typically skewed female. It's Gen X and older millennial focused as well. So if these are the people who you serve best, then you should be in this space. But demographics are only one part of what we look at. We also have to look at psychographics. And so I always ask, what is it that this person carries in their purse, and or where is it that this person shops? So for me, I think Walmart versus Target, Macy's versus Boscov, Nordstrom versus Lord & Taylor, right? That's typically how I like to break it down to get into the psyche of the particular customer that I'm looking to serve. And so typically the people on Facebook are loyal, they're family focused, they're information driven, and they love groups and familiarity. So what does that mean from a content perspective? Well, what that means is that the content that works on the front porch are live videos. People love to get behind the scenes. They love to ask questions and they love product demonstrations. Why? Because they like to have the information, right? They like the facts. People also love events and RSVPs in this space, right? Personal feeling, long form posts. People love to give their opinion on Facebook, right? So if you can get them involved in a group discussion, something that has to deal with building the community, they are all yours, as well as shared blog links and third-party articles. Now, I want to offer you all a pro tip here on Facebook, right? Consistency in your business page updates and using your groups is going to be magic when we're talking about retention on this platform, right? And when I'm saying consistency, I do not mean every day. We don't have that type of time. But what I do mean is reliable content. So if you can commit to 2 times a week, do that. If you can commit to 3 times a week, do that. If you can't commit to 6 times a week, don't start doing that and then fall off, right? Consistency is key with this platform and this audience. Next up is our friends over on Instagram, and I refer to this as your brand's digital lookbook, right? So, Instagram is best for lifestyle brands, beauty brands, wellness brands, fashion brands, food brands, and the creative entrepreneur. Average demographic on Instagram are people somewhere between 18 to 44. There is a really strong millennial presence here, as well as Gen Z usage. And the psychographic here on Instagram is typically someone who is aesthetically driven, they're discovery focused, they're trend aware, and they're also swipe happy. Hence why the story feature is one of the most powerful tools on this platform. So, what type of content works well here on your brand's digital lookbook? Well, I'm glad you asked. Of course, there's the reel feature, but not just a reel for a reel. It's a reel with a trending sound or a how to hack, a story series for daily engagement, carousel posts that have quick tips, tutorials or testimonials, and branded photo shoots and what we call vibe content, right? Now, I want to offer you a pro tip here on Instagram. Your stories equal your retention, your reels equal your growth, and your grid, that's your storefront. If you can make all of that work together cohesively, that is how you leverage your Instagram digital lookbook the absolute best. Which brings us to our friends on TikTok. I call this the virality playground. So TikTok is best for brands that have big personality, educators, e-commerce demos, and real talkers. Now, the demographic here on TikTok is fleeting, right? Because what we have seen is that at its origin, it was much younger people between the ages of like 16 and 21, but that has grown vastly. So we are still seeing majority of people between the ages of 16 and us geriatric millennials. We are on a rise on TikTok. The psychographics over here, though, are people who crave authenticity. So one of the things that my dear friend Annie always says is, do I have to go over to TikTok? Yes, you do, because you are absolutely one of the most authentic people I have ever met, and TikTok will love you and your content. It's also very fast-paced content, and it values relatability over perfection. As I mentioned to you all yesterday when I had the pleasure of speaking with my friend Annie, people want authenticity over perfection. They want to see you in your raw, realist form. And the types of content that work well here are the fast tips, the tutorials, the behind the scenes. Of course, the humor and the commentary. Shout out to our friend Erin Parnas, who keeps us up to date with all the things that are happening down in DC and abroad. Storytime formats and the days and the lives, right? All of my makeup girlies do amazing over on TikTok. And then remixing trends with your niche, right? Now, your pro tip here is that you really only have 3 seconds on TikTok. And your first 3 seconds are everything. So you have to hook, then deliver. And you can repurpose your Instagram reels here on TikTok, but it has to be done smart. It can't be done lazy, right? So you want to make sure that the cadence is there. All righty, here we go. All righty, LinkedIn. I know that a lot of you all love LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is what I consider to be where business can get personal. LinkedIn is absolutely a B2B platform. It's also really good for consultants. It's really good for speakers, human resource professionals, academics, and coaches, which I know we have a lot of coaches in the room, right? The demographic here is traditionally people between the ages of 25 and 55 who typically have some level of education, often more highly educated, corporate and or entrepreneurial. The psychographic here are typically people who value networks, right? They're very network driven. They're thought leadership seekers, and they care about achievements and values. The type of content that traditionally works on LinkedIn are personal journeys that tie into your work or mission. So it's not good enough just to share a personal story on LinkedIn. It absolutely has to tie into your work or your mission. The industry insights or the news commentary works well here. Your client wins, your business milestones, big content here. And repost of your thought leadership blogs or events. Do not miss an opportunity to create a blog on LinkedIn. It is a super highway for clients there. Now, my pro tip here for you all is that LinkedIn welcomes emojis. LinkedIn also welcomes hashtags, but they must be strategic. LinkedIn also welcomes stories, but they need to be smart. And overall, the story that you tell on LinkedIn has to be real and factual because you are dealing with a highly educated community. And so it is very important that the information that you are delivering on that platform can be fact checked and that it is accurate because you will lose credibility on a platform such as this if it is not. So just ensure that all of that is taken care of there. Pinterest, which is actually my personal favorite social media platform. I call this the search engine in heels. So this is best for DIYers, crafters, online sellers, coaches with evergreen content, and planners. Now, bear in mind that Pinterest is 70% women, ages 18 to 49, and it is typically driven by household decision makers. The psychographic here is typically people who are aspirational. They're usually long-term thinkers, and they're also usually curious planners. The types of content that works here usually are long pins. That's the actual schematic for the long pin with text overlays. Step-by-step infographics, insert a great recipe. Blog roundups and resource downloads, as well as seasonal content, right? I don't know about you all, but every fall I'm on Pinterest trying to figure out what's the new hot pumpkin spice thing for me to get, try, make, or what have you, right? Because they always have it. But the pro tip here is that we have to remember that Pinterest is less social and much more SEO, AKA search engine optimization. So I say you want to treat Pinterest like Google with a good outfit, right? So it's cuter than Google, but it's very SEO driven. And so you want to be intentional when you are creating pins for Pinterest so that it is driving traffic back to your website. And I would be remiss not to state that social media as a whole does not work at its optimum capability without a website because there needs to be a landing space to be able to track what is actually happening on these various sites. Sure, we can pull data from the individual sites and we can assess and reassess from that. However, there's nothing like driving that traffic to your landing page, AKA your website, to be able to understand which of these sites really makes the most sense for your business. So, which platform is right for you? Well, here are some things that you want to ask yourself in your business, right? You want to ask, where's my audience actually spending their time, right? Where are they? Based on demographics, psychographics, and also the data that you're getting back from your activity. What type of content do I actually enjoy creating? Because here's the thing, you're going to keep saying, do I have to, if you're creating content that you don't even enjoy? Do I want to build community? Do I want to go viral? Do I want to educate or do I want to inspire? Because contingent on what your goal is, that will help determine what platform you should be on, or platforms with an S. And what does success look like for my brand? Are you using social media to sell? Are you using social media for awareness? Are you using social media for growth, right? What is the goal in this particular portion of your marketing plan? Understanding that social media is not the whole plan. It's a portion of the plan. So I personally believe in the combo strategy, right? You don't pick one, but you do have to prioritize one. And in doing so, it becomes a primary platform. So this is where your people are, and this is where your content thrives. Then there's one support platform. This is great for repurposing, right? So you can take that content from your primary platform and you can repurpose it easily. And then the bonus is your email list. And this is your platform because you own it. And I want to offer you all this. Grow the email list. And here's why. Number one, you own it. Not Zuck, not the algorithm. You own it. Number two, it's where conversation really happens. And it's also great for those exclusive offers, those launches, and those value-packed, nurturing conversations. And there's various ways that we can leverage the email list on the different platforms. And I do have those tips and tricks baked in for you right here. But the biggest pro tip to the email list is automate it. Take it off your plate. Use platforms like MailChimp, Flowdesk, ConvertKit, whatever one it is that you want to use, and automate this email list, but own it because it's yours. This is where your voice will live and grow, and this is where you are going to build those connections to your community. All of that to say, consistency over perfection. We don't have to do anything perfect. Rome was not built in a day. And quite frankly, you're not building Rome, you're building revenue. So I want you all to pick a lane, ride it out, and then scale it up. That's all we need to do. Here are some ways that you can stay connected with me. I hope to see you all tomorrow at Implementation Day, where I am actually going to pick one person and we are going to deep dive into your brand and actually get you set on the right path for your social so that you can own your social and actually do the things that you want to do in a way that is meaningful for growth for your company. But I'm going to leave you all with a challenge. So this is the If I Have to challenge. So I am going to ask each and every one of you to do just two simple things. I want you to pick one platform that doesn't make you say, if I have to, one that you actually enjoy, and post one intentional piece of content this week. So you all have from Wednesday, June 11th until Wednesday, June 18th, 1 week to post an intentional piece of content. Then I want you to tag me, right? You can tag me anywhere, everywhere in the world as Keshia Butler Thomas. I have all of my tags there. I want you to tag me. And I want you to use the hashtag if I have to. And ultimately, let's build some momentum, not burnout. Annie?
Raw, real, and just a little dangerous. This is Feral.